Andrea Sullivan of Andrea's Sweet Cakes. I was recently asked to be one of the 100 bakers in the Tim Burton collage, and I was assigned Violet Beauregard as the character that I was to reproduce in sugar. So as I was creating my figure, I got into the mood, start watching a whole bunch of Tim Burton movies, and then it got me thinking, what if I tried my hand at making a fun little Tim Burton inspired teddy bear? So I thought it'd be kind of really cool to make a tutorial on how to make my little teddy bear here and share it with everyone. So let's just review the tools and materials required to make the teddy bear. Of course, we're going to need our gum paste. I chose purple, so I've got a lighter purple here. This is going to be for the head, body, arms, and legs. And then I've got a darker purple here for his little muzzle. Oh, and we'll also require some black for the nose, but I'll grab that at a later time. We also have a board to build our figure onto. We've got wire snips, a quilting wheel that you'll need the straight edge, Dresden tool, a ball tool with a large ball and a small ball, 2 brushes here, a fine tip brush and a little bit broader. That's for the petal dust. I also have some fine black stamen here, cotton balls to help support our character as it's drying, and of course some toothpicks for support, water and brush, and some icing sugar if you think you need it. Okay, let's begin. We're going to begin by building the body of our bear. So I've got my gum paste here, and I'm just going to portion off a small chunk. Massage it. I like to always mock up my figures because, you know, since I am just grabbing a random piece, I want to make sure that this is a good size to work with. So start by rolling a ball, and then we're going to start to make like a teardrop shape. Nice fat one too. We don't want to make it too long. Okay. Gonna press him down, make a nice flat bottom for him to sit on. Okay. Give him a nice little fat tummy. Okay, so when you're happy with your shape, we're going to use a Dresden tool, and we want to make the slouch lines. So right where it starts to get thin, I'm going to go on an angle and make one big line. Like that. Now, I think I'm going to make my next one right here. And then one more right there. So you're looking for like an X shape. So I like to go in and just really fine tune it. Okay. When you have that, I want to make his little seam running up the front. So I'm going to use my Wilton stitch wheel, the flat one. I'm going to turn this around and right up his front. Like that. And you can go back in with your Dresden tool. Push back down. Really want to make him look all crunched up. There you go. Okay, so you can also make the line in the back. There we go. So there we have his body. Let's add a toothpick for support to anchor his head to his body. So I'm just going to snap a small piece away, I think. Just the end. And a little bit of water. Let's put this in. And let's just center it and slide it down. Like so. There you go. I'm going to place this on my board so I can move him around with ease. But first, just a little bit of icing sugar so his bum doesn't stick to the board. There we go. Next step is to add the legs to the body. So I've got a chunk of gum paste here, a ball. I'm going to get 2 feet out of this ball. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with a ball. And then I'm going to start to roll it out just with my pointer finger. And then I'll start to get my little feet will start to appear at the end here. I'm going to start to turn them up. Just flatten them out, turn them up. Okay. Now right in half. Just going to make this cut end nice and flush. I'm going to glue it directly to the body. There you go. Keeping it nice and stubby. Now, let's get our Dresden tool. I'm going to give a nice fat little ankle line. There we go. And with our quilt wheel, we're going to run it right down the center of the foot, up over the toes, carrying it all the way down. So I'm just going to fine-tune those lines. Okay, we're going to attach it with a bit of water. Pop it right on the side there. Just push it so you get it nice and flush with his body. There you go. Here, those lines are still in place. Okay. So with the other foot, repeat that process. Dresden tool, give him an ankle, quilt wheel, give him that stitch line. Some water. Pop it on his body. Let me spin it around and look. Spread those a little bit. You can even turn in one if you want. Oh no, I don't like it like that. Okay. Just gonna use my drizz until I squish that line. Okay, there he's got his legs. Let's model his face now. So you want a sizable chunk for his head, almost like probably the same size as his body, maybe a little bit smaller. So roll that into a ball. I'm going to mock it up first and just see if I'm happy with the size. Maybe a little bit more. Okay. So roll a ball. Once you have your ball, then roll it into a nice oval shape like that. Grab that ball tool with the fat end, and we're going to make the eye sockets low on the oval here, giving him a lot of forehead. So get in there. So I'm going to use this one here. It's a little bit smaller. You want to get them pretty deep. You want to create the illusion of hollow eyes. Very much like Jack Skellington. That's the look I'm going for. Okay, so when you have that done, we're going to take our stitch wheel and we're just going to run it right down the very center. Oops. That one went a little crooked. That just adds to the character of the teddy bear. Okay, so that's what you're looking for. So I'm just going back in and making sure that those holes are round and not oval. So, I put some water on the toothpick. And now we're going to slide his head on, and we're going to slide it on an angle and kind of flopping forward. You'll find as he's drying, his head will start to droop a little bit more and more and more. And I want that to happen naturally, and then when I'm happy with where his head starts to settle, then I'll prop it with some cotton balls. Just making sure those eyes are nice and round. Going back, fine-tuning those lines in case I warped any. There we go. Okay, we're going to let his face dry, and we're going to work on one arm for now, because we'll probably have to put some cotton balls here to support his head, so there's no point in putting the arm there yet. So same technique as last time for the feet. One big ball, and I'm going to start to roll it in half. I'm going to cut that in half. Narrow out the cut end. And then we're going to use our quilt wheel, and we're going to make a stitch line all the way around. Like that. don't want a lot. Now if you find the arm won't stay on by itself, you can slide a small piece of wire or toothpick in there. So let's attach his arm. Let me see. Flipped it around the other way. More water. I think I'm going to put him a little bit higher. There we go. Pop a cotton ball under his arm there just to keep it from falling. And that should set up relatively quickly. Come on, stay up there. There you go. Okay, I'm just going to save this other hand that I've got cut, and I'm just going to pop it aside for now. Now we're going to dust his eyes. All right, so at this stage I like to brush in all of the petal dust into the eye sockets and all along the seam lines and everything. You can wait until it's dry, but I'm just very impatient. So let's go ahead. I've got my majestic purple petal dust here. So let's open that up. I like to take a spare piece of gum paste. And this is how I tested to see how well it was going to dust into the eye sockets. I got a ball here, a ball tool, and I'm just going to create almost like that eye socket. So I'm going to take my brush, the broader one, dust off this excess. And I'm just going to quickly dust in there, get off the excess. Okay, so I'm going to go in. I want to make sure that I have very little on my brush to start. I don't want to go in with a mass amount and then get like a super dark spot. Okay, so now let's go into the eyes. I've got my character propped up here with a cotton ball and a color container just to keep it so it doesn't slope backwards. So let's start brushing in that color, adding that depth. A little bit more. Okay. Let's do the other one. Try not to like come outside of the circle. You just want to make it look like the eye sockets are empty and hollow. You might get a better effect if you were to wait for it to dry a little bit. I find that it's kind of clumping in some areas, but I don't know, I kind of like the effect it's adding. Some dark spots and light spots. Very Burton-esque. I'm just going to turn so I can take a look. All right, there we go. Now with the finer brush, this one is great for the little seams. Okay. So I'm just going to get right in. Don't really want to come outside of the seam. You want to keep all of the dust right in the creases. I love the feel that this adds. Really adds a lot of creepiness, I find, to it. So just go all over, getting in all of the little seams here. Any little crease. Take your time. Oh. There we go. There. So that's all the seams. I still got to get the other arm when I put it on. All right, now I think he needs his ears. So let's model out 2 small ears out of our leftover gum paste. I just like working, I want his ears to be pretty big. You want to make sure they're both the same size. You can quickly model out 2 small balls first, and that way you know both ears will be roughly the same size. Okay, start with a ball, and then roll out a little teardrop shape. I'm just going to push in a dent. You could do that with a ball tool. Let's see if I have one appropriate. Or a small one. This one's too small. But then we're going to pinch that end together. And then trim off the excess. So you have something like that. Now I'm going to quickly dust it before I pop it on. There we go. Okay. A little bit of water. There you go. The other ear, exact same process. Ball, that little teardrop shape. Push in that dent. Close it back up. I'm just going to quickly brush in a little of the powder. Cut off the excess. And a little bit of water. Just going to turn this around. See, where do I want to put it? There we go. You can pop cotton ball it won't fall off. We're going to let that dry for a moment. Now let's model his muzzle out of the darker purple. So break off a very tiny piece. Very, very small. Roll it in a ball. And then kind of flatten that ball.
Okay.
Just making sure there's a definite edge there. You can see, nice and flat. So it'll go flush against his face. Just push it down a little bit. Yeah, I'm happy with the size. So I'm just going to get this straight wheel and right up the center. I'm going to make a stitch line. Ensure that goes all the way around there. A little bit of water. I want his muzzle nice and close to his eyes. So right there. And I want to make sure that the seam lines are matching up. There we go. There you go. Little muzzle. Now we need to create his bottom lip. Same color purple. A little ball, then a little rope, and then curve it into like a C. Actually, I'm going to go smaller than that. Curve, like that. And then I'm going to trim away. Just leaving myself with that little loop. The water. Attach it right beneath the muzzle. Nope. Crooked. There you go. Now he just needs his little black nose. Got a little bit of black fondant here. Just gonna roll a little ball, then into a little oval. A little bit of water there at the top of the muzzle. We'll just pop up on that nose. Boop. There we go. Just like that. Okay, now we're ready for our final arm. So let's get that piece that we had put aside earlier. That's the same size as the other arm. Just gonna roll out a little teardrop shape. So fatter at one end, narrow at the other, like so. Run that stitch line all the way around. Just making a flush side so that it'll stick to the body better. You know what? I'm gonna brush some purple on it while it's in my hand. Okay. There you go. Pop a cotton ball under it so it doesn't go anywhere. Let's see. Come on. There we go. Now finally, just to really give them that Burton-esque feel, we got to add a couple of stitches. Now I've got some fine black steam in here that I'm just going to use my wire snips. And I'm just going to take off those little balls at the end. And I'm just what I'm doing is I'm just threading it through until I see it coming out the other side. And that's how long I'm making. So like a centimeter or a half an inch long. They don't have to be perfect. Need a few of these. Okay, so now we have all our little cut pieces of stamen. Now I'm going to show you how to model them into the little stitches. So here I've got one of the little pieces, and I've got my wire snips. And I'm just going to place it in there, and I'm just going to bend the ends down. So almost making like a staple. I like to use these bracelet makers because they got they're spring loaded, so they pop open when I need to a quick release. Oops. So let's place one right into his forehead. You got to do this when the gum paste is obviously still wet or soft. There we go. Then I like to use another tool just to push it in. Or my finger. There we go. Okay, so let's repeat this process a couple times and give him a couple stitches in his head. Okay. Make sure that they're nice and even, so that they just go straight in. Come on. I'm not used to working away from myself like this. There we go. Just push it in. There we go. Great. I'm going to show you how to do a X. You got to throw in a couple X's too. Change it up so it doesn't become repetitive. And then I just bend the ends over. I'll make one more. Whoops. cute. And another one. There you go. Okay, now you want to add a few more stitches to his tummy and turn the figure around, add a few in the back of his head and even on his back as well. So that's what I'm going to do right now. Gotta give him a couple on his tummy. You don't want, I think it would be too much if you did like stitches all the way up and all the way around. I just like to do like 2 or 3 in the front and then maybe a couple in the back. I don't know, it'd be overwhelming if you did too many. This one on his tummy. Oops. I'm going to do another cross. Make sure it's nice and tight. And one button handle. Let's see how that looks. Ooh, fantastic. Let's do one more single stitch. And there we go. All right, I guess I should do a few on his back. And then he'll be all done. I'm just gonna add 2 final cross stitches to his backside and then my teddy is all done. Okay, I've already got my staples already made up in advance here, so I can just do it with ease. Whoa, I almost knocked his face off. Mm-hmm. All right. Angles are weird sometimes. There we go. And one more, and then we're all done. Our little Tim Burton inspired teddy bear. He's fabulous. Wow. Work hands. Come on now. That's it. Ooh, that wasn't very smooth. Full cooperation from that one. Oh, come on. Spoke too soon. Booyah. Here we go. Beautiful. Let's spin him around. And there we have it. Oh, he's adorable. I almost think he needs a stitch right there. I think I'm going to do it. I got this one just sitting here all by itself. Yes, you will make the party. Here we go. Our final stitch. Oh, come on. You're just being difficult. Here we have it. All done. Should we put, oh wait, you know what? I forgot to mention I do like to dust in this final seam here. I'm just going to face it towards me. I don't think I have any color left on this brush. Come on. There we go. A little bit in the mouth. Sloppy. There we go. He's officially all done. Isn't he adorable? Let's get his brother in the shot. I must say, I do like my first one better. That's how it always is. You always like your first one best. There you go. Oh no, I just knocked his leg off. That's okay. There we go. There we have it. Our Tim Burton inspired teddy bear. Aw, he's way better. It's okay, but we still love you.